Hello, thank you for joining me for this webinar exploring how Shakespeare continues to influence modern world culture. My name is Dee Dee Brewstead, and I am the company coordinator for the Southeastern Teen Shakespeare Company, or SETSCO. My 4 children and I have been involved with SETSCO for the last 10 years. My husband and I are both members of First City Shakespeare and Improv. I've been involved in one way or another with 22 of Shakespeare's 37 plays. I'm not going to talk about why you should study or perform Shakespeare. We're not here because Shakespeare is good for us, although it certainly is. There's plenty of information to be found on the benefits of Shakespeare, and at the end of this webinar, I'll give you some links to these articles. We're here because Shakespeare is a lot of fun. He was the king of puns and double meanings. His plays are filled with crude jokes mixed in with amazing insights into the human condition that are still relevant in today's world. Shakespeare's plays are currently performed on stage, made into movies. They inspire updated settings like modern high schools in 10 Things I Hate About You or She's the Man, and his storylines are the basis for animated movies like The Lion King, and his works are reflected in television, movies, writing, music, and art. He gave us over 3,000 words and phrases we use daily. Sit back and get ready to enjoy some of the best of the bard. Shakespeare's plays are filled with wordplay, over-the-top characters, and crazy situations. In both Twelfth Night and She's the Man, Viola disguises herself as her twin brother, Sebastian. Mistaken identity and love triangles fill these stories with reasons to laugh. Shakespeare's wordplay is brilliant. Pyramus and Thisbe, the play within the play of Midsummer Night's Dream, has outrageous characters, terrible overacting, and impressive alliterations. When Pyramus mistakenly thinks a lion ate his love, with bloody, blameful blade, he bravely broached his boiling, bloody breast. Even Shakespeare's tragedies have comedic elements, like the repetition in this line when Polonius tells Hamlet that the visiting actors are the best actors in the world, either for tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral, pastoral comical, historical pastoral, tragical historical, tragical historical pastoral. The techniques Shakespeare used to create wordplay, silly characters, and ridiculous situations are still making us laugh in movies like 10 Things I Hate About You, Big Business, and Joss Whedon's Much Ado About Nothing. There may not be any sparkly vampires, but fairies, sorcerers, witches, ghosts, and monsters fill Shakespeare's plays. The Tempest has Prospero, the sorcerer, ruling over Ariel, his spirit helper. Prospero saved Ariel from Sycorax, an evil witch that committed acts too terrible to enter human hearing. Sycorax had a son with the devil. This monster son, Caliban, is Prospero's mistreated slave. This play also has water nymphs, fairies, several goddesses. In Midsummer Night's Dream, Oberon and Titania, the king and queen of the fairies, have a lover's quarrel that throws the forest into chaos. Puck, the most mischievous of the fairies, gives a man named Bottom the head of a donkey, makes Titania fall in love with this bizarre creature. This play combines mistaken identity and love spells for magical comedy. Both Macbeth and Hamlet feature ghosts. Macbeth is filled with prophecies and dark visions, while the 3 witches toss around Eye of Newt and Toe of Frog. Science fiction owes a lot to Shakespeare. The Doctor Who episode, The Shakespeare Code, has the 10th Doctor, played by David Tennant, team up with Shakespeare against 3 evil witches. The witches are actually aliens that get their magic from the power of words. Shakespeare improvises a curse to defeat the witches, but when he can't come up with a rhyme for Tinker's cuss, the doctor, his companion, and Shakespeare yell Expelliarmus. Star Trek was heavily influenced by Forbidden Planet, a space version of The Tempest. This isn't the only example of the Shakespeare-Star Trek connection. The episode Cat's Paw is a retelling of Macbeth. Star Trek Next Generation also has several Shakespeare-inspired titles, such as Sins of the Father or Dagger of the Mind. Ian Dosher turned the Star Wars books into Shakespeare. The Phantom Menace, The Clone Army Attacketh, Tragedy of the Sith's Revenge, Verily A New Hope, The Empire Striketh Back, and The Jedi Doth Return combine the original Star Wars stories with the language reworked to sound more Shakespearean, and famous lines and monologues worked into the original stories wherever they fit. In The Clone Army Attacketh, C-3PO uses Bottom's lines from Midsummer Night's Dream to tell of having a dream, past wit of droid to say what dream it was. The eyes of droid have never heard, the ears of droid have never seen. Droid circuitry not able been to sense, nor programming conceive, nor e'en droid's core to make report what C-3PO's dream was. You can find all the Shakespeare's classics as graphic novels and manga. There are also books like Gary Blackwood's The Shakespeare Stealer series about a young orphan boy forced to infiltrate Shakespeare's troupe to steal his latest play, Hamlet. The character Hamlet is also found in Jasper Ford's comedic mystery series, Thursday Next. He may even be the father of the main character's son. Kill Shakespeare by Conor McCreary paints a world where Shakespeare's heroes have banded together to keep Shakespeare's greatest villains from killing the wizard William Shakespeare. Paul Anderson, A Midsummer Night's Tempest, is an alternative universe fantasy where the woods are full of Oberons, Titanias, and Pucks, and Hamlet is alive and well in Denmark. There's even a choose-your-own-adventure book, To Be or Not to Be, where you can play as Hamlet, Ophelia, or the Ghost of the King. This book had over 15,000 backers in 1 month of campaigning, making it the most funded publishing project ever on Kickstarter. The Reduced Shakespeare Company is a UK-based comedy troupe that performs all 37 of Shakespeare's plays condensed down to a 97-minute show. Shakespeare is a rock star in Something Rotten, the new hit Broadway musical. This past month, I had the opportunity to see it, and it was wonderful. There are also Shakespeare-inspired board games where the players race to get the pieces they need to put on productions. Think Trivial Pursuit meets Shakespeare. To earn the pieces, players can answer questions or perform monologues. There's also Shakespeare Charades and a new Shakespeare-themed Cards Against Humanity style game called Bards Dispense Profanity. When you're all done playing games, you can wash up with Lady Macbeth's gift soap, have a piece of Shakespearean insult gum, grab a Shakespearean insult bandage if you need one, play with your magnetic Shakespeare poetry kit or magnetic dress-up Shakespeare doll, wiggle your fingers into some Shakespeare character finger puppets, slip on some Shakespeare socks if your feet are getting cold, and play some of Eric Didrikson's pop sonnets, Shakespearean spins on your favorite songs. Listen to some MC Lars, like Hey There Ophelia, or Akala in the Hip Hop Shakespeare Company's comedy, tragedy, history rap. Shakespeare created between 2,000 and 3,000 new words and phrases that are still in use today. He told us that all that glitters is not gold in Merchant of Venice. In Macbeth, the porter says, "Knock, knock, who's there?" giving us the world's first knock-knock joke. In Othello, Iago says he wears his heart on his sleeve. "Love is blind" was a favorite phrase of Shakespeare's. He used it in Merchant of Venice, Two Gentlemen of Verona, and Henry V. In Henry IV, Part 2, the hostess complains that Falstaff has eaten her out of house and home. Along with these phrases, Shakespeare gave us arch-villains and assassinations. Because of him, we can have hot-blooded or cold-blooded eyeballs and elbows. He introduced us to fashionable managers and blood-stained bandits. Without Shakespeare and his invented words, we wouldn't have RuPaul's Drag Race. The word drag comes from stage directions. It meant dress resembling a girl. Nobody can craft an insult like Shakespeare. The amount of insults in Henry IV, Part 1, staggering. There are scenes between Prince Hal and Falstaff that are nothing but trading insults. Shakespeare was at his wittiest when he wrote arguments between men and women. These can be seen in the exchanges between Beatrice and Benedick in Much Ado About Nothing, or Catherine and Petruchio in The Taming of the Shrew. Petruchio calls Catherine a wasp, so she tells him he should beware her sting. The beauty of Shakespeare's insults is that you don't even have to understand the words to know you've been the victim of a drive-by insulting. We have two special guests joining us now to show how effective Shakespearean insults can be. Lila Brewstead has been involved with the Southeastern Teen Shakespeare Company since she was 8 years old. She has been a company member for the last 5 years. Her roles have included Lady Macbeth, Catherine from The Taming of the Shrew, and Queen Gertrude from Hamlet. On stage, she has been male, female, fairy, sprite, witch, and pirate. She's been the fight captain and assistant director. She also does a mean Who Doth Inhabit the Primary Position, or Who's on First, Shakespeare style. Daisy Brewstead has been involved with Setsko since she was 6 years old and played a fairy in The Tempest. She has been a company member for the last 2 years. Her roles have included Helena in Midsummer Night's Dream, Dromio in Comedy of Errors, and Hotspur in Henry IV, Part 1. She's been involved in stage combat, costuming, backstage, and is usually in charge of special effects makeup. These two are sisters, so be prepared for some vicious insulting. Please leave a comment with your vote for the winner of the epic Shakespeare insult battle.
Slubbering boiled brains, ragabond. You are an artless, ill-tempered abomination. Apish, dirty, rotten blockhead. Cold-blooded, sheep-biting dissembler. Crusty, flat-eared knave. Greasy, snail-placed dullard. Slobbering, dull-brained cozener. You are an insolent, uneducated footlicker. Wanting, puppy-headed knave. Listless, useless giglet. Cold-blooded, eye-offending balls-pizzle. You are a lumpish, rank-scented horseback breaker. Sickly, clay-brained dismembler. You are a lumpish, I mean an obscene, swag-bellied idiot worshiper. Witless, muddy-headed ox-head. Puking, tripe-visaged measle. Stinking, bald-pated arch-villain. Rascally, under-honest braggart. Witless, lily-livered scum. You are heinous, dirt-rotten ticklebrain.
Wow. Thank you both for that savage smackdown. I hope you all have enjoyed your time with us. Thank you for coming to my webinar. Please leave your votes for the insult battle in the comments section and any questions or comments you may have. If you've enjoyed yourself, search for Shakespeare groups and events in your area. If you're near Pensacola, visit setsco.org for more information about the Southeastern Teen Shakespeare Company for teens or First City Shakespeare and Improv for adults. Have a great night. Thank you again.